Okay, hello my yogi. So as promised, we will be going through a short prenatal flow this morning, specifically good for anyone in their second trimester, as I know some of us are. Okay, so to start, definitely have a block around or something that you can use for a little assistance. And now would be a great time if you want to sit on a block or a bolster or a pillow or whatever prop you have handy. We'll come into a comfortable seated position and we'll start with a little diaphragmatic breathing, meaning we're going to focus on breathing not through the chest, up and down on the chest, but just through our diaphragm down here. So on an inhale, we'll expand through baby's little home. And then on an exhale, think about wrapping those transverse abdominals, those obliques around baby. Inhale, exhale, wrapping everything in. And as we exhale, not only are we wrapping everything in, we're bringing the pelvic floor kind of up at the same time, which is just allowing everything to come into alignment. Inhale, just letting the belly basically hang out. Exhale. At the same time, you might just feel your shoulders coming back, your spine straightening, kind of everything coming into alignment and turning on a little bit. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And inhale. Exhale. Let's start by coming into on all fours into a little cat-cow. As we inhale and we arch our back, instead of just exhaling and letting everything hang down as we might be used to, and which does feel really good and is a great thing to do, think about inhale, just tilting the pelvis down, exhale, just through the pelvis, tilting it back. And what you're looking for here is pretty much a stretch through the sacrum. Inhale, exhale. And when you feel it, go ahead and just stay there for an extra breath if that feels good. We'll just take a few more breaths here. You can feel it just through the sacrum and kind of some of those surrounding muscles. It's worth it to try to figure out how you need to move your pelvis in order to get that stretch. Very beneficial through labor and feels amazing. Inhale and exhale. Last one. I feel like I could do this stretch all day. On our next inhale, we'll move our hands forward and we'll exhale into downward facing dog. So as this is an arm strengthening stretch, use this time to just sort of stretch everything out, but definitely feel free to come into a quarter dog right here at absolutely any time, especially during pregnancy when we have so much more blood flow. I feel the blood rushing to my head in a down dog, especially at the beginning of a flow, like crazy, and it's very uncomfortable. Let's walk our feet up to our hands. Feet here kind of hip width or as far apart as you need to make room for your belly. And just inhale And we're coming up to standing. Let me move my mat back a little bit. Okay, we're up to standing. Inhale, arms high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take this moment to just roll your shoulders back. Check that your feet are kind of in the same position, facing forward. Always a little bit of a bend in your knees, never locking your knees out, especially while pregnant. Inhale, exhale, arms come down. And we'll just kind of start this flow. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, coming down to a forward fold. Inhale, look long. Exhale, fold. Hands come down. Right foot steps back. Knee comes down. Hands to the outside of your left foot. Toes are down in the back. And we bring our arms up overhead. We're feeling a stretch right here through hip flexor, maybe through your quad. And take a breath here. Inhale, hands come down on the exhale. We'll come back here onto all fours. And through a breath, exhale, we'll push back to down dog. Again, come through quarter dog as much as needed. Inhale, right leg lifts high. Exhale, step that foot to the outside of your hands. Left foot, left knee comes down, left toes come down. This time, bringing hands up overhead, still feeling that stretch to the hip flexor. Go for a really gentle back bend. Hands come down. Right leg comes back to all fours. And here, go into your down dog position. From here, walk your feet up to meet your hands and come into a half fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up to standing. Arms up overhead, hands through heart center, coming down, hands to the ground. Left leg steps back, knee down, toes down. Arms come up, looking for that stretch again through the hip flexor. Since we've already done one, go ahead and take a little slight back bend. Exhale, hands to the ground. Right leg steps back, and we're pressing back into our down dog. Take a breath here. On your next inhale, left leg lifts high. Leg comes to the outside of your hands. Right leg, right knee down, right toes down. And we're coming up, going for that stretch again. A little bit of a back bend. Hands come down. Left leg, knee comes down. And we're pressing back into our down dog. Since we're a little bit warmed up here, go ahead, pedal your knees out, pedal your feet out a little bit, and go ahead and bring your knees down to meet the width of your mat. And we'll come down into sort of a child's pose. As we go through a breathing exercise here, think about inhale, expanding the back of your ribs, and then on the exhale, see if you can feel a similar stretch through the thoracic spine, kind of at the top there. Same that we were looking for down at the base with the sacrum. See if you can feel that expansion. So it's inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, expanding the ribs. Exhale. As you do, pull everything in, feeling that expansion through the back and sides of your ribs. We'll do 2 more breaths here. Inhale, we'll come up to all fours. And from here, we'll work our way into Malasana, a yogi squat. This is a great pregnancy yoga position to work on getting comfortable in. If you need to sort of go from side to side to start getting yourself in that position, that's totally fine, that's great. And then once you're here, think about, again, engaging that entire pelvic floor with your breathing. We'll do another 3 breaths here. So through the diaphragm, opening up on the inhale. And on the exhale, everything is sort of coming together, tightening up, and just working as a unit. Less about contracting and more just about coming into kind of symphony with one another. And we'll come back onto all fours, always moving through these transitions super slowly. From here, press back into down dog and walk our hands up, walk our feet up to our hands again. Inhale, up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center and come down into Utkatasana, into chair pose. As we're right here, find a little bit deeper than you want to go. You're making room for baby, you're making room for that belly, and you definitely are feeling it. Our legs are already turned on a little bit here, and we're just going to take a couple of little pulses here. And pause, forward fold. Inhale, look long. Exhale, hands to the ground. Right foot comes back. From here, we're coming up into a crescent warrior. Keeping that bend in the front knee. Hands up overhead. Spinning out into warrior 2. That bend is staying there in the front knee. And bring your right hand slowly back, maintaining that bend, and just look for the side body stretch here. Take a breath. And as we come forward for Revolved Warrior, right arm comes up overhead. This bottom arm shouldn't be holding a ton of weight. This is here just to kind of help your alignment. And using your core, using your abs, bringing yourself back up to standing, straightening the front leg, sliding your arms forward on a plane. Left hand comes down, right hand comes up, and exhale, back up to standing, rebend that front leg. Cartwheel your hands down to the outside of your left foot, stepping back into high plank. Knees come down. We'll do 3 little chaturanga push-ups here. Arms just need to come down to 90. From here, we're into an upward facing dog. Rolling the toes under, stepping back, and here we are in down dog. Take a minute to just kind of reset, and walking hands back up to the top of the mat. Inhale, look long. Exhale, fold. Inhale up to standing, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. We're right back here in Utkatasana into our chair pose. Legs should definitely be feeling turned on now. Find where you were in your first chair pose. Can you go a little bit deeper? And here we go with the pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and fold. Inhale, look long. Exhale, hands down, left foot comes back. And using that core strength and really using that front leg to stabilize. Coming up here into crescent lunge. From here, opening up into warrior two, maintaining that bend in the front knee. Slowly coming back, sliding your left hand down your left leg, right arm comes overhead, looking for that side body stretch, using your core here to move through these warrior positions. To test yourself to see if you have too much pressure on that front arm, try extending it just for half a breath. And then from here, using your core to come back into warrior two, straighten that front leg, sliding your arms across a plane, right leg comes down, hand comes down, left arm overhead. Inhale, back up, back into warrior two. And cartwheeling hands down, right foot steps back, here into high plank, low plank also, knees down, high plank works just as well. And we'll do 5 little push-ups here. And we'll come through downward facing dog for a few breaths here. Walking our feet up to meet our hands, we're going to come right back into Malasana for another 5 breaths. If the pose isn't quite comfortable for you yet, grab a block, grab a bolster, a pillow, whatever, and just see if over the next several weeks you can get a little bit more comfortable right here, which is actually a great birthing position and a great place to come back for alignment and thinking about, again, the pelvic floor. So many muscles in that pelvic girdle to just bring into alignment with breathing. 3 more breaths here. Hands down, and we'll walk ourselves back to downward facing dog. From here, we'll bring our left leg high to the outside of our hands. Stepping up into crescent warrior. Right foot spins down into warrior two. From here, both legs straighten, rotating towards whatever side of your mat. And from here, hands on the back of the hips, just forward fold. Toes are pointed slightly in while heels are just slightly out. And right here, this is a great place to incorporate a block for sure. I probably should have one closer. And then as we take another breath here, slowly deepen this stretch. Think about maybe your palms coming into alignment with where your heels are. Let your head hang heavy, neutral neck for just another breath here. Starting to come out of this, hands on the back of the hips, just bringing yourself up, spinning your right foot back, coming back into warrior two, facing the back of your mat, and bringing hands down to outside of the right foot, back into a downward facing dog. Coming down into all fours. I'm gonna spin around so I can face you. Coming down onto all fours. We're just going to finish out this little flow with a few more knees down chaturanga push-ups. We're gonna go for 10 here. Sliding yourself forward so that your back and hips are in alignment. If you want to pull your knees up, if you want to pull your feet up, go for it. 1. Breathing through each of these. We'll do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back, knees wide, coming into just a true child's pose. Whatever is comfortable for you. Right now my belly's hitting the ground, so I'm just sort of doing a little bit of an elbows bent child's pose. And we'll meet back in that seated position where we were when we first got started. Feels so good to get a little movement in, especially as things start to get bigger and feeling so many changes. So we'll just finish this with a few breaths of absolute gratitude that we're able to move and able to carry a baby and be the provider of life. Thank you for flowing with me.